Ah, okay, sige po. Tayo na magsimula. So, once again, good morning. So, nandito na po si Doc Ephraim Perral.
In the world, but not of the world, our Lord Jesus goes reigning on. In the hearts of us ministers, saved by grace through faith alone. With us a great army of chaplains, preachers, teachers for marching on. Now the world could have inner peace, hope and joy in Christ alone. We are united in God our Father and in His Son and the Holy Spirit, working hand in hand to accomplish the great commission. Logos PH, Logos Philippines, International Instituto. Our alma mater, Logos PH Instituto. Our alma mater, LCMBSI. Our alma mater,
Alright, so bago po tayo magsimula,
In this darkened world, we need the light, a true guide of life to follow, the sure guide of light, the pearl of great price. This truth we will find in God's word. Search God's word, leave His word, for in it we know we have eternal life. Search God's word, share His word, for in it we know they'll have eternal life. In this darkened world, we need the light, the true guide of life to follow. It shows what we need, just what we need to do to lead an empowered life. Search God's word, leave His word, for in it we know we have eternal life. Preach God's word, teach His word, for in it we're sure they have eternal life. For in it we're sure they have eternal life. Share God's word.
alright, so ating po hilingin sa pag-umpisa sa panalangin si kapatid na Padil, yung ating bagong student, no? Kapatid na Padil, pwede po ba ikaw Opening prayer.
Sige po, tayo ay manalangin. Ama naming Diyos na makapangyarihan po kayo sa lahat, may-ari po kayo ng aming hiram na buhay. Maraming salamat sa inyo pong pag-iingat sa amin sa buong magdamag. At sa ngayon po, kami ay magsisimula, ipahintulot na ang Banal na Espiritu Santo ang siya pong makasama sa amin upang amin pong maunawaan ng maigi ang amin pong mapapakinggan ngayon, at ang Banal na Espiritu Santo ang siyang tuturo sa amin. Ipahintulot na sa inyo pong kapangyarihan ang inyo pong pinadalang speaker po ngayon na magsasalita ay mapuspos po ng Banal na Espiritu Santo, na saan Panginoon ay mag-iwan ito ng obligasyon sa amin, ng inspiration habang kami ay gumagawa sa inyo pong banal na gawain sa ikatatapos nito. Pagpalain ng bawat isa sa pangalan ni Jesus. Amen.
Amen. So, ating na ibigay ang panahon sa ating professor, Doc Perral. Sa iyo na po ang panahon.
Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Hello, good morning. Good morning to everyone.
Morning po. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Doc. Good morning, Dr. Al.
I think the date today is 22, October 22, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes po, Doc.
22. So this date is a very significant date to Adventist history. Can you recall why is this date significant in Adventist history?
The Great Disappointment.
Yes. This is the very date where the Adventists were waiting fervently for the coming of Christ until they experienced the great disappointment, because many of them sold their properties, left their properties, and many people were already jeering, were already insulting, etc. But they were so adamant in believing that Jesus would come. And when the date passed, they were all ashamed and embarrassed to be confronted with insults, with jeers, mockery, revile, and many others, reviling many others. So this is very significant. But let us remember that only a week, a little more of 1 week, will be November already. And I cannot recall what date is slated for your final defense. December? Am I right?
Doc, I think it's first week of December.
If it's first week of December, practically you only have 1 month to go to do your thesis. And it seems that many of you have not yet forwarded to me your first chapter, which includes introduction, statement of the problem, significance of the study, scope and delimitation of the study, methodology and procedure. If it is what is this theological or dealing with Bible text, others would ask for presupposition of the study. So this constitutes chapter 1. So if you are dealing with exegetical study, others would ask for presupposition of the study. So this is only easy to do, chapter 1. But I don't know if I don't know if many of you have already done it. And then you proceed with your proper. First is just actually a proposal stage, the first chapter. You tell what is your introduction, your statement of the problem, etc. Then after that, what is the significance of the study, scope and delimitation, methodology and procedure. Then you go directly to your historical background. If ever there is a necessity to show your usage and genre of the passage, it's very good because that would help you in giving an idea the kind of interpretation that you will deal with. And then the context, either the external context or the overall context. Then you'll deal with literary analysis. If ever there is a necessity of putting in grammatical and syntactical structure of the passage, it's also very important. So that might constitute chapter 2. And then your chapter 3 will be your main discussion. So depending on the topic, in other words, you will discuss the pros and cons based on the data that you have gathered. And so your insights are technically what will contain in chapter 3. And then chapter 4 is your summary of findings with your analysis and conclusion. So this is just brief summary, brief conclusion, or brief. Your conclusion is a direct answer to your statement of the problem. And then your recommendation. If ever you have a recommendation to make, you put your recommendation. So this is, I think, for all who are dealing with biblical studies, meaning your research deals with a text or meaning of the text, a passage of the text, or a phrase in a text, whatever. Unlike if your studies is, I think most of students in Luzon are having quantitative research. So quantitative research is totally or is greatly different because you will do first-hand gathering of data from direct respondents, either interview qualitative or questionnaires quantitative. But I understand that most from Visayas and Mindanao are biblical studies, meaning your thesis deals with biblical passage or biblical text. Again, how I wish. So far, one has submitted to me, Brother or Pastor Suliga, about Jacob, have I loved, I hated Esau. So that was the paper submitted to me. But I believe that paper, the paper he submitted to me, needs further improvement and enhancement. That is why maybe within this week, I will be citing some of the areas that he needs to improve and to enhance to make his studies richer and stronger. So there are areas that needs further elaboration because he just dealt very shortly. And if I would be a panel member, I have a lot of questions to ask. I don't know if Pastor Thierry could readily provide a convincing answer. So I will be citing some of the areas that he needs to improve and enhance so he can be ready when defense comes. I do not know who will constitute the panel, but perhaps they would hire a panel who is expert in theology or a theologian, and then very highly technical question or deep questions, and you might be caught unaware. So there are things that needs to be enhanced and improved. But there is a big advantage to Suniga because practically he is already done. He has finished from beginning to end, but only he needs significant improvement to some areas where he just discussed very not lengthily but very shortly, and which needs more enhancement and expound more because very crucial area needs to be clarified more, especially in dealing with context, that the background, the context. For example, if Paul quoted that statement in Malachi, then the panel member might take you to Malachi as the original passage quoted by Apostle Paul. Then you might be asked, what prompted Malachi to state that? In other words, you are not just there to argue logically, but you have to argue either linguistically, contextually. What is it in the Hebrew word, and what is the context when that word is used in the Old Testament context? How should that be differentiated when the same word is used? Is there a difference in Hebrew word when the same English word use the word hated or hate? So there are areas that needs to be strengthened so that when the defense comes, you are more confident. Perhaps you are complacent to think that yours is already okay, but when it comes to defense, depending on who and what will constitute the panel, good if the panel are not good in questioning. But if they are good in questioning and you are not ready, then you will have a hard time, and that will affect the outcome of your paper. That is why you make it a little bit lengthy and stronger, especially in areas where you only dealt in one paragraph that is not convincing. You have to expound more. So I hope Pastor Thierry is listening. Perhaps tomorrow or within this week, I will be sending to him the areas that needs to be strengthened and to be discussed lengthily because they are very crucial in
Thank you,
his.
Doc. Thank you, Doc. I'm listening.
Okay, so good that you are there listening. What about the issue of the duck? I have not yet received your chapter 1.
Isisend ko sa iyo mga mamaya, Doc, kasi nirefine ko muna yung mga statement ko kasi nasa parang conclusion na ata ang kulang ko sa sa thesis.
You can submit your preliminary. What is this? Because I will be interested of your content, how you arrange your title, your subtitle, and how you present your data. the data that you have gathered, and how organized are your presentations in your paper, and then your analysis. In other words, the order or the sequence of order of your presentation matters also. Either it is disorganized, the thoughts are not in order, so that should also be looked into. So first, your introduction. How did you present the problem? Then your statement of the problem in an interrogative form. And then your, if ever, yours is not, what is this? Is not quantitative. So your significance, how significant is your study? And in your significance, please take note, all of those who are writing your paper, you categorize your significance. For example, the significance of the study to the theology students, or the significance of the study to, you categorize, to the SDA church, the significance of the study to the, let's say, Protestant church, significance of this study to the Catholic Church, or think of sectors of society of which your study will have benefits or will have significance. So, for example, that primarily this will have significance to the theology students, because perhaps your study might be something new to the theology students, to the administrators of the church, to the brethren who are in favor or against the eating of duck, to others whom you think will your study will have significance. So you categorize it in your significance of the study. Do not just generalize it, but categorize. Okay, significance of the study. This study will benefit the following: theology students. Then you cite what benefit will this study to the theology students. If the Adventist administrators or to the Adventist defender, then you cite what benefit will this study give to the Adventist defender or Adventist layman, to the general Seventh Adventist in general, or even to, because I don't know if this has significance to non-Adventist, this study, because most of the debate is in the Adventist circle. So you categorize in your significance of the study, then your scope. So what are the limitations of your study and the scope? Up to what only? What area that will not be included in your study?
Ang nakalagay dito, Doc, sa akin, Doc, the study is limited only to duck family in relation to Leviticus 11, 13 to 19, and Deuteronomy 14, 12 to 18.
So what will be your, but you will not, will you also deal with your study the Tinsimit?
Yes, Doc. Yes, Doc.
Yeah, that is very important, and perhaps that would constitute title or many titles or subtitles in your study, because that has to be presented, because that is also the basis used by those who are against the eating of duck, because your study centers on duck or swan. Perhaps you will, I don't know if you will differentiate there the swan or duck, swan and duck. Did you differentiate there?
Ang whole, in general kasi ito, Doc, kasi duck family kasi ito. So, ang ano kasi, ang family ng duck is Anatidae. Nandoon na po ang swan, goose, ducks. Yan po ang mga family ng
Because
Anatidae.
in other translations, duck is not rendered, but swan.
Yes po, yes po.
So the term swan is very crucial because that is the very term that is used by many translations. That is why you also put swan either slash duck slash swan, so that other readers might not set aside, that is duck. What we are interested is the swan because what is written in the Bible is swan. They might rationalize that, that is about duck. We will insist on swan because that is what is stated in our Bible, swan. In fact, in Cebuan Bible, the word rendered is itik. And itik, I think, is swan. And duck is pato.
Ah,
I have Bibles here that renders itik.
Doc,
Dili pato, not pato.
wild duck kasi ang itik. And then ang swan is swan lang talaga. Walang ibang kasi iba kasing gansa, ang gansa is geese.
Oh, geese.
Oh, tapos ang swan sa swan lang talaga. Tapos ang duck is pato.
Yeah, but in Cebuan version, it's itik. And in English version, it's swan. That is why if you will deal only with the term duck, others might dismiss that because he is dealing with duck, he is not dealing with swan. We are interested with swan because swan is what is stated in the Bible actually. And so you will have a lot of explaining to do that swan and duck belong to the same family, blah, blah, blah. That is why in your study, it would be good if you will indicate there the word swan. In other words, when they read your paper, they can immediately see the term swan because others have narrow mind. They might dismiss your paper. His study is duck. We are not interested about duck. We are interested with swan. And so if you will encounter them, you will have a hard time explaining, duck and swan belong to the same family, blah, blah, blah. But if you will immediately put their swan, that might get their interest because what they find in the Bible is swan and not duck. Because in debate, kung mabasa ko, swan, gidili, ay, yun nga, your study is duck. We are not interested in your study. Duck, you are dealing with duck. It's not in the Bible. Ang gidili sa Bible, dili duck. Gidili sa Bible is swan. Because that can be read. That's why I suggest that you consider putting the term swan in your study rather than duck only. Because many laymen are also some sort of narrow thinking. Especially kung they are highly technical. Kung mabasa ko, itik, dili pato. Something like that. What can be read is not duck. That is why do not argue about duck because I am not concerned about duck. I am concerned with swan because that is what we can read in the Bible. That is considered abominable. So if you insist on duck, go ahead with your duck. But what I will insist is what can be read in the Bible, which says swan belongs to the abominable fowls. That is why you incorporate the term swan so that once and for all, those who are narrow-minded could immediately get interested of your study because the swan that they found in the Bible is part of your study. In fact, highlighted in your study. I hope that you will incorporate the term swan. Either you slash it with duck or swan, meaning implying that they belong to the same category as what the Bible has described, as part of your study. And then you explain of tinsimit whether swan is the right translation or owl is the right translation, so that you can establish whether swan or duck belongs to the unclean or the clean. Again, I hope that all of you who are hoping to graduate on your masteral can be able to finish your paper before the date of your defense. So I think Suniga is 90 to 95% finished. He just needs some elaboration of his paper, enhancement, elaboration to strengthen his paper. Practically, he's almost over. And he has to make also some recommendation because I think he lacks recommendation in his paper. I'll review his paper. But I will send to him the areas that needs to be enhanced and elaborated more, because it is necessary for his defense. Because there
Thank
are
you, Doc.
some areas that he just tackled shortly and which is not highly convincing. So I am interested of others like Blasito Laig. I want to see your paper soon. Madam Kalim, I think, will be under Doc Hernandez because her study is, aside from her being from Luzon, her study is somewhat quantitative. I don't know with Tana, Maxion, Del Rosario, Calcanya, Gaspan, Leonardo, Basaron, Daniel, Blasito, Arnel. There is sit-in now, so there's no necessity for a sit-in. Sherlyn Kelimar Arangco. I don't know if Arangco is enrolled in this class. Is he? Kelimar?
Enroll po, nasa fast tracker po.
So he is enrolled. If he is enrolled, he must begin. I don't know what his title is yet. And then Ramak, of course, Ramak is under Dr. Hernandez. Ortega, I don't know what is the title of Ortega. Aris, I think he has already. Chiri, Fajardo, Buenaventura, Daniel. I think Daniel is under Dr. Hernandez. So far, how many of you are here?
26, Doc.
So if there are 26 of you, I don't know if all of you have already submitted your title and have worked on your title. I cannot remember others who have submitted their title, but I wonder if they already have started their paper. For example, Laig. I think he is from Bohol. Bohol, Leyte. Mr. Laig, have you already started your paper? I forgot the title of your paper, but do not procrastinate because time is very fast and you might just be surprised that you may only be greatly stressed because time for defense already comes. And you are not ready, or you are not even halfway done. You have not gone halfway on your research. So double time. And I think your paper is only single space, because I have not yet received a format of the LIMS research format official. So I am giving you an idea of the format that is done almost all universities and colleges. Anyway, format does not matter most. What matters most is the content, the very substance of your paper. Whether your research could contribute significantly to knowledge and additional knowledge in the field of theology or in the field of whatever area is your research concerned about, especially those who are also engaged with quantitative research. So Sherlyn is from, how many are from Luzon actually here under Dr. Hernandez? Out of 27, how many are from Luzon? I presume that Daniel is from Luzon, Kalim from Luzon, Calcanya, is she from Luzon? Maxion from Luzon? Or how many percentage does students from Luzon constitute? Do you reach 30% out of 100%? How many are from Luzon and from Visayas and from Mindanao? Who has the most number of students? Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao? Who is capable of answering that?
Mostly Luzon, Doc.
Most are from Luzon.
Yes
How
po.
many are from Luzon? How many from Visayas? And how many from Mindanao?
Here in Visayas is only 5 or 7.
So Visayas, 7. Luzon,
I think nasa 15
Luzon, 15.
or mostly.
Mindanao,
Nasa,
how many from Mindanao?
I don't know, Doc.
Almost 20, Doc.
Huh?
Almost 20.
Are from Mindanao? No, enrolled in
Yes.
this class research.
Yes.
So what exactly is the number?
Sa more or less mga ang mastera lang man na, Doc, no?
Oh, Masteral, kinin enroll ining research karon.
Bulong. Ano dos? Mura di mo menos sa 15.
Yeah, but
Ako,
if there
ako
are,
may naman.
how many are enrolled total? What is the total number enrolled in research? This subject research.
Ang nahibalora na si Kuan lang, si Ma'am Manilin.
Is Manilin around? Is Ma'am Manilin around? So I can be, I'll have the idea, so I can make an individual follow-up of these students who are enrolled in Visayas and Mindanao, because only from Visayas and Mindanao are under my, what is this? Advisory. but from Luzon are under Dr. Hernandez. I want to make a thorough follow-up. So before December 3, if your scheduled defense is December 3, before December 3, all of you from Visayas and Mindanao must already be able to complete, ready for your defense. Of course, I might follow up from Luzon, but you will be working closely with Dr. Hernandez because that is the instruction of Dr. Raja. Can I have the names of Doctore? Can you provide me the number or the names of those from Mindanao and also from Visayas so I can make an individual follow-up and
Okay, Doc.
closely
Unya
monitor?
dapit. Ako pang tanawon.
Yeah, the names, and I don't know if I can have a contact with them so I can call them, because if you will not be followed up closely, I don't know if how many are only qualified or capable or ready rather to defend your thesis.
Tama, Doc. Thank you.
Basig ikaw ray ready mo defend og si Mr. Duck in Bohol, Aris. So far, only the two of you are doing. I don't know if others are silently doing without
Oh,
my knowledge. I hope that
Taga na
they
sila
are
kayo, Doc.
silently
Silently
doing.
doing.
Huh?
From Thailand, si Aringo Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Aringo, I forgot. Aringo is also contacting me. Is he now present? Is he attending now? Is he aware that there is a class in the morning, Sunday morning?
Yes, aware to, Doc. Aware to.
Yeah, but I did not see him in the
baka
Zoom,
wala
in
pa.
the Zoom meeting.
Okay, baka wala pa.
So Aringo is also submitting his paper. Yeah, I forgot. So far, there are only two of you who have tried to submit, Aringo and you.
Okay.
The duck study, I am very interested because that is controversial. But nothing has been submitted to me yet. What I am interested is to see the formatting that he has made, the logical order of sequence as far as subtitle are concerned, because there has to be a clear,
Ako lang muna.
organized presentation. Kay there are others, kalidadis ang pagplastar. Dapat well organized ang thought sa presentation of your paper.
Ask para yes po.
So I hope Dr. Aris, you can submit to me within this week your draft, even if it is not yet complete. Partial is important, so I can already give you some ideas what areas needs to be changed or to be improved or to be elaborated, etc.
Doc, excuse me, Doc. May buntag.
Okay.
Di ba ito ipasa direct sa imo ha, Doc? Sa imong Facebook account?
Yeah, in my messenger or in my email.
Ephraim Perral ang nakatatak, Doc?
No. Even in this group chat, you will see there dudes gumapak with
okay.
Dudes gumapak, and the profile pic is
Eiffel
Tower.
Sa
Eiffel
France.
Tower. So, if you can submit, if all of you can submit, except those who have already submitted, all of you can submit within this week, then I can closely make a follow-up of your study so that by December, all of you are already prepared for the defense. And I hope Visayas and Mindanao can make it during your defense. If there may be some suggestions later on by the panel, some revisions to be recommended, you can immediately work on it, and then you can finalize your paper. So you can qualify, I think, for graduation, because this is your major requirement for graduation. I think you cannot graduate without a paper that is defended by before the panel. So only Aringo and Suniga, and I expect Aris can submit. And I am excited to see his paper because his paper is very significant in the Adventist circle, because until now, the debate about that topic has not yet settled. Others are attacking some. There is even a radio program that attacks pastor who tolerate the eating of duck or swan, because to them, in their study, by looking at Tinshimit in the Strong's exhaustive concordance, there is a rendition there in the Strong's exhaustive concordance regarding Tinshimit, which belong to the abominable fowl or unclean fowl. There is a rendition there, or meaning provided rather, in Tinshimit as water hen. So very clearly to them, water hen are ducks because they are in the water. They are swimming on the water, floating on the water. So water hen really could mean ducks or swan. And so they can strongly conclude that swan and duck belong to the unclean birds or unclean fowls. So we are interested to see the study of Aris.
Sa research ko, at ang duck ay magkaiba po na magkaiba po sila ng bird family, ang water hen.
That is why that
Kaya
is,
ang water hen din ay isang mistranslation din.
yeah, but that is in the Strong's exhaustive concordance. So I am interested to find or to see that in your paper, because when you will be closely cross-examined by the defense panel, we will be able to see how strong you are in your defense and how thorough is your knowledge about it, that kung sabi ni siya pa, bisan pag isirkubalintong ang pangutana, kaya nimo matubag. Kay you will defend that before the panel, and perhaps the panel are very meticulous, and in one area you fail to satisfy them with your answer, they are not convinced, then that will affect your paper. So your study must be thorough. That is why I need to see, so I can suggest some areas that needs to be improved and to be elaborated, so that your defense could be airtight, cannot just be easily shaken if ever left and right questions will be heard at you. So far there are three. So Aringo, Suniga, and Aris. I don't know with others. Of course, from Luzon yan can also ask some questions from me, but I cannot work closely with your paper because your advisor is Dr. Hernandez. So you work hand in hand with Dr. Hernandez for your paper. What about Daniel? I think Daniel are from Luzon. Daniel Domingo and Janice Daniel. There are two Daniel, no?
Janice Daniel, I Mindanao po.
Janice Daniel is from Mindanao.
Opo, Doc.
So you already have, is Janice Daniel around? Who is capable of providing me the names from Mindanao and Visayas? Who is capable in this class to provide me the names of those enrolled in this class? Sino ba
I will try po, Doc. We will try.
Ay, Doc, si ano pong registrar natin, si Ma'am Joanne Newman.
Yes, Ma'am Joanne.
Yes po.
Unique
And
ka.
then,
Is Ma'am Joanne enrolled in this class?
No,
nasa ano po yata siya? Regular.
sa fast trackers pa siya.
Or fast track,
So
fast track.
who can provide me the names of those enrolled from Mindanao and Visayas and even from Luzon so I can have an idea? But
I'll
what
try,
rin
Doc.
po
I'll
si, ano,
try.
Ma'am Manilyn.
who?
I will also try, Doc.
Okay. So that are enrolled, you might be submitting names that are not enrolled, and then they will
Okay.
just be surprised if I'll ask them, and then said, I'm not enrolled, so dili ko mapalawa.
Okay, okay.
Doc,
Oh.
excuse me po, Doc. Perral.
Yes.
Dito po sa may Visayas po, bali 3 lang po kami. Kasisiman, Del Rosario, at Paboriti.
So from Visayas is Del Rosario.
Yes po sa Iloilo at saka Negros.
What about from Bohol? Aris is from Visayas.
Oh, yes, 4.
Aris dapat. Who else is from Visayas? Del
Bohol, si Doc
Rosario
Aris.
dapat.
Si Doc Laig. Si Doc Laig pa.
Samuel Ran.
So Laig is also from Visayas. Who else? Who else is enrolled from Visayas? I have here Del Rosario, Dapat, and Laig.
Ako, Doc. Ako.
Ortega.
Yes, Doc.
Paborito daw.
Ortega. So there are 4 from Visayas.
Paborito,
po, Doc.
Doc. Paborito,
Huh?
Doc. Paborito.
Favorite is also from
Yes,
Visayas. Okay,
Yes,
there are
Doc.
5. Who else? Who else?
Kasisiman, Alan.
Kasisiman?
Alan.
Is he around?
Yes, Doc.
Kasisiman?
I think yung iba po kasi under ni Doc Ray yung mga graduates, yung mga apologetics po. Apologetic paper po ang gagawin.
Yes po.
So who is...
So,
Okay, let me make it sure from Visayas, Del Rosario, Dapat, Laig, Ortega, Favoriti. What about, because Karkasim, I have not encountered this. Maybe apologetics is...
yes po. Yes po.
Okay, so I will erase Kasim. So who else? There are only 5 from Visayas.
Excuse me po, Doc. Bali, yung BSDev po, Doc, apologetic po yata yung ano namin, Doc.
Ortega is not enrolled in research, only in apologetics.
Yes po, Doc.
So I will erase Ortega. Who else? So only 4. Del Rosario, Dapat, Laig, and Favorite o Favoriti. There are only 4 from Visayas. Not 7. What about from Mindanao? How many? We have Suniga,
Basaron,
Basaron, Aringo,
si Tabulong, mga
Tabulong.
theologians lahat, Doc.
Okay, who else?
Tabulong, saka si Ibanez, si Rimulta, Pastor Adorable.
But they are not present now.
Maybe. Hindi
So
lahat.
Ibanez, Rimulta, Adorable, and Tabulong, I think, are not attending this morning.
Oh,
Who else?
pero
Is Tagaraw enrolled not
Yes, enrolled.
in this subject?
Yes. Tagaraw.
But he has not yet
Chavez.
presented to me. Who else? Chavez?
Chavez. Renante Chavez.
Who else?
Pastor Arip. Benjamin Arip.
Arit. but they are not attending the class so far. I have not noticed them attending.
Nag-attend sila, Doc. Nag-attend si Pastor Arep.
What about Chavez and Adorable,
Yes.
Rimulta, and Ibanez? Are they attending?
Yes, yes. But I don't know today. Nandito na ba sila ngayon? Hindi ko pa sure.
Nandito, Doc. Nandito, Doc.
Mag-klase pa ko. Tawag po niya.
Ako din po naka-enroll.
Bernardo?
Naka-enroll po, Doc.
Bernardo is from Luzon or Mindanao?
From Luzon po.
Ah, Luzon. So Bernardo is from Luzon.
Opo.
So who else are from Luzon? Maxion. Maxion
Doc,
is from Luzon?
I'm enrolled here. You have already approved my title.
You are from Luzon or Visayas?
Luzon, Doc, Luzon.
So is your study quantitative?
No, Doc.
What is your title? Let me hear again. Please give me the title. Let me please let me help me recall it. What is that?
The title, Doc, is Forgiveness of Sin, Conditional or Unconditional. Absolute or conditional.
Okay. So you will be working with Dr. Hernandez?
So far, yes, Doc, but I think lately, Doc Ray had advised that you can also assist us.
Yeah, but it's not good if there are two, because his advice might be different from mine and you will be in trouble. This is my advice, and then when you also consult him, that is also his advice. And if our advice would not synchronize, you will be in trouble because you will be confused who to follow. That's why it's good that you'll only have one, either me or him. But I don't know if he is well versed in giving advice with this kind of study. Is he a theologian?
I have no information, Doc, but the masteral and dissertations that he forwarded earlier to us are most of them, or not all, are quantitative, Doc.
So his field of expertise is different. So he's not so much in theology. And if he's not so much in theology, I don't know if he can give you a stronger or more, what is this, fitted advice, fitted to your area of studies, because yours is biblical, theological, and you might deal with, of course, yours is not dealing with just one single verse. In other words, it is not exegetical, but it is systematic in scope because it deals with the whole Bible, dealing with the issue of forgiveness. You might even cite some other authors with regards to the issue of forgiveness, like not secular, but other theologians outside of SDA circle, and perhaps you might also cite some from Ellen White. But of course, you will deal deeply from the Bible, whether in totality, what is the teaching of the Bible regarding forgiveness? Is it conditional or not? In other words, you will be dealing with the total teaching of the Bible. That's why yours belong to systematic theology. It's not purely biblical studies, and so far as it is, because it is not, it is, while it covers with the whole Bible, but it's not exegetical. I don't know if Dr. Hernandez can work closely on you. Work closely with you on this study. But if he will advise you to, what is this, to work with me, because he is not very much competent. I don't know, I'm not implying that he is not competent, but because competency or being competent matters with your field of expertise. That is why you cannot be a good advisor in dealing with automotive if you have no thorough knowledge with automotive or repairing of cars. Only those who are expert in automotive can deal with automotive. In computer, only those who are expert with computer can be a good advisor in computer.
Tama, Doc. Tama.
Dr. Hernandez has an expertise, but I don't know with biblical languages or deep biblical study whether he has the competence to be your close advisor. So I am not.
Excuse me,
Oh,
Doc. If it is all right with you, I will confer with Dr. Ree.
yeah, no problem with me. No
And
problem.
then if whatever his advice, Doc, I will refer it back to you. Then perhaps we
Okay,
can
okay.
agree.
So you ask their opinion. So you can begin already. You can start and you submit your introduction. If ever I will be your advisor, you submit your introduction, everything, and then I will suggest the areas that needs to be improved, etc. So you can work immediately within this week and the whole month of November, so that by December you are already all prepared to make the defense. So, but Maxion is from Luzon.
Yes,
Kalim
Doc.
is also from Luzon. Yeah, I like the study of Madam Kalim, but her advisor is Dr. Hernandez. I am interested to see her study in Baguio, Metro Baguio, the coverage of her studies in Baguio. Leonardo is from also Luzon. Leonardo, are you around? Are you from Luzon or where are you from? What about Ramak? Is Ramak from Luzon?
She's from
Yes
Doc.
po,
She's from
Luzon.
Isabela.
Okay, so Ramak is under Dr. Hernandez. What about Christian Chiri? Christian Chiri is also from Luzon. Kabuk,
She's a no student, I guess, Doc.
ha? From Luzon.
She's a new enrollee because it's my first time to see her name, Doc.
So perhaps, I don't know if she's enrolled in this class.
Hindi ko rin sure, Doc. Baka lang po nakapasok.
Is she listening now? But Janice Daniel is from Luzon. Janice
Mindanao, Doc.
Daniel.
Mindanao. Mindanao. Kalawit.
Janice Daniel is from Mindanao.
Yes.
Oh, I have not yet made a follow-up with Janice Daniel as far as her study is concerned, or she has already consulted with me, but I forgot what is her topic about. What about Fajardo?
Luzon, Doc.
Luzon.
Kay Doc Ray po ako. Kay
You
Doc
are
Ray.
enrolled in this class or
Apologetic.
only in apologetics?
Apologetic, Doc.
Apologetics. What about Gaspan? Is Gaspan from Luzon?
Yes po, Doc. Hindi lang yan siya makasagot kasi hindi yata working ang mic.
So she is from Luzon.
Luzon po.
Okay, so she'll be working with Dr. Hernandez. Arnel is from Mindanao.
Markaida?
Arnel Marcaida po from Luzon, Doc
Luzon.
Isabela.
Pati si Lloyda po.
Lloyd and Arnel po. Isang account kami lang kasi medyo may problem yung isang cell.
So Marcaida is from Luzon. You already have
Yes
your
po.
topic, and I think you are now working closely with Doc Hernandez, right?
Yes po, ito po yung topic ko, Doc. Ano ko ba, Doc, yung aking topic or
Okay,
ito
let me
po?
remind. Be
Okay.
reminded. I
Yes po,
forgot
yes
your
po.
topic.
A study about the apocryphal writings as not inspired by God.
Okay. So that's a
Okay
good
po ba
study.
yan? Okay po yun, Doc?
I think you are not to put it in a negative sense.
Ay, okay, sige po. Kasi
Oh,
bias na ganun na po.
oh. In other words,
What
you
can you
still
suggest,
have to
Doc?
explore whether the apocryphal writing belong to the category of inspired writings or not. In other
Ay,
words,
okay, opo. Para balance.
para balance. Yeah.
Opo.
So
A
good that
study.
you have that. So you can work closely with Doc Hernandez, and I think he is capable of working with you on that.
Yes po.
And I hope I can be a member of the panel so I can scrutinize your study.
Yes po, Doc.
What about Calcanya? Is Calcanya from Mindanao? Padiel Calcanya?
Visayas, Doc. Bali, fast tracker lang po ako. Bali, nag-sit-in lang po ako, Doc.
Okay. So you are not enrolled in this class? Research?
Hindi, Doc. Hindi po.
Okay. But it's good that you are also listening so you can be, you can have an idea of what to do next when your time comes. Because
Yes.
you will enroll this in the near future. Okay.
Yes.
What about Karen Buenaventura? Is Karen Buenaventura from Luzon?
Yes, sir. Luzon po.
From Luzon. You already have a title?
Yes, sir. Actually, as I recall,
So what is your title?
I think it's about the body and the spirit, if I'm not mistaken, sir.
Body
I
and the
think you're the
spirit?
one who suggested me, sir, the topic. As I could recall.
So your study deals with some biblical.
Yes, sir.
So that is also good. So you work closely with Dr. Hernandez unless he would suggest that he is not strongly capable or competent with that area. But if he feels that he can handle that, you work closely with him.
Okay, sir. Thank you po.
Yeah, that is a very good study and it's a very controversial
Yes,
topic.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
You suggested to me the topic.
What about Kilimar Arangco? Is Kilimar Arangco from Mindanao?
Dok, karang nag-sit-in lang ko, Dok.
Sit-in lang. So you are not enrolled?
Mura o kay bago man ko ini fast trackers man ko.
Okay. Oh. Asa man kakaron?
Di ako sa Bohol, Dok. Central Visayan.
Ay Bohol na day ka? Wa na day ka diri sa Mindanao?
Mas bati man ko sa di man ko na di man ko sa Bisaya nya. Di ako sa Bohol ako sa Metron.
Sukad pag-graduate nimo sa MVC sa una, diretso na day kag Visayas?
Dito ko Bisaya, di Central Visayan.
Ay naon sa baka to si Arangco nga diri sa kuan imo to igsuono?
Melkisedek,
Melkisedek, okay, mayo kay pero ulahin na day ka, wala pa day ka mo enroll ini research.
Pa ko ini ka enroll bago man ako nag-enroll sa DDIB unya ning fast trackers ko.
So dili ka mo research, dili ka mag-thesis.
Pwede raman ko mo thesis.
So you consult with Dr. Raja. Or you talk to him whether you will enroll and you will I mean, I don't know, it's up to him to decide for you whether, because if he will say that you can still go ahead with your research, so you think of title and you work hard for your paper.
Okay,
If
Doc. Okay.
ever he would allow you, or what, I don't know, of your
Ah,
status.
Kome. Di aman si Doc Aris neighbor man mi na next door siya.
Okay, maayo. So, makakuan siya para nga murag gamhanan man po na siya sa limbs.
Oo.
So, makakuan siya.
Mo kuha lang ko ni mo aris ko dre o pwede pa ko mo appeal ini or maminaw lang ko or mag-ready ko daan para sa next na pod nga kuan. Nik-enroll na ko na ko preparation.
Oh. Sige, sige. Okay. So, si Calcanya, unsa man ni si Calcanya? Is he around? Padil? Bago lang nino or nag-enroll research?
Bali ako Dok ay observer lang muna ako sa fast tracker ako lang Dok nag-enroll baka next po siguro.
Sige. So far in my list here from Visayas, I have Del Rosario, Dapat, Laig, Favorite. There are 4 from Visayas. And from Mindanao, Soniga, Basaron, Aringo, Tabulong, Ibanez, Rimulta, Adorable, Tagaraw, Chavis, Arit, Daniel, Janice. And from Visayas, Karin,
Hello, Doc.
Visayas,
Si Doc.
Luzon, ha?
Doc, excuse me, sa Mindanao, si Montes, Urot.
Montes?
Oh. Urot Montes. Pero I don't know kung nag-enroll na siya, pero basta qualified siya.
Okay.
Pati si Dominic.
Ha?
Dominic.
Dominic?
Dominic. Oh, opo, Dominic.
But has he attended already in this class?
Parang nag-attend man siya.
So, pero pa may title na kung naibalaan niya. Kining...
Sige lang. Ato na follow up.
So, I am following up these students of your title and how far have you gone with your research.
Okay,
Del Rosario, I think dapat is Laig. He has already a title. I forgot, but I don't know if he has worked with it already. And Favorite. But Basaron, Aringo has already submitted to me. Tabulong, not yet. He has not even contacted me once. Ibanez, Rimulta, Adorable. Tagaraw tried to contact me, but he was having problem with his title. Because some of his proposed title are very broad and not researchable. I mean, are not, what is this? Not significant. That is why I was suggesting some, but I don't know if he is interested. There are actually many that can be researched in the Bible. For example, the passage, all Israel will be saved. That's a good study because you have to find out what is the meaning of that Israel there. Because many, especially the Protestants and those who believe in dispensationalist Protestants believe that all Israel really will be saved. That's why what is going on now with this war, God is with Israel. And so they believe that still Israel are God's people. And so when the Bible says all Israel will be saved, that refers to this Israel here. God finds a way that Israel, who had long been gone by diaspora, are re-established. And they said the re-establishment of Israel in 1948 is prophetic, and so they would quote passage from Isaiah, Jeremiah, and more from Ezekiel. They would prove that the reestablishment of Israel as a nation in 1948 is a fulfillment of prophecy. And so God has designed that all Israel will be saved, and that is prophesied by Apostle Paul himself. And that
Gwapo
would
na,
be
Dok.
a good
Gwapo na.
study. Huh?
Gwapo
Amo
na
na
study mo.
Many are actually closely monitoring with Israel now because they see it in a biblical perspective. They still
Yes.
consider Israel, literal Israel, as a people of God. In other words, God's covenant with Israel has not been broken. So it was restored. The promise of restoring the covenant relationship between God and Israel has been restored when Israel was re-established in 1948.
Tama, Dok. Na nag-teach na karon, even some pastors nag-agree sila na special people pa rin na Israel as a nation.
Yeah, that is why it's a good study. So whether Israel is to be interpreted literally or Israel must be interpreted in the New Testament context, Israel must be interpreted in a spiritual sense. Does Ecclesia constitute the new Israel, or Israel still retains to be Israel literally?
Classmates, gwapo lang nga topic. Pwede niyo kuhaon. Katuwa pa yung title.
Yun sa akin, Doc.
So who else have no title? I tell you, there are plenty of areas to be studied in the Bible.
Yan lang siguro, Doc, no?
I don't know because we have, if all of you are also enrolled in hermeneutics, there are areas that we will deal with hermeneutics, but I think I will not discuss those, or I will not discuss many, because others could be a good, fertile study for your research. For example, Matthew, I have cited this during our discussion in hermeneutics. Matthew 24, 40 and 41, and relating it to Luke 17, regarding two in the field, grinding at the mill. I mean, two that are in the field, one shall be taken and the other left. Two grinding at the mill, two women grinding at the mill, one shall be taken and the other left. And then verse 42 says that the disciples ask, "Where, Lord?" And then the answer of Jesus is, "Where the vultures are, there also is the flesh." So, question, who are those that are taken and who are those that are left? Are those taken righteous and the left wicked? Or those that are taken are wicked and those that are left righteous? And I tell you, plenty are standing on the position that those that are taken are righteous. But equally, the same number of those who take the position that those that are taken are wicked. They would argue linguistically, contextually.
Daghan kayo, Dok, no?
Yeah, linguistically and contextually. That is a good actually study. That is why I was contemplating whether I would discuss that in our hermeneutics, because if someone would get that as a study, it's not good to discuss that in our hermeneutic subject. Because if we will solve it in our hermeneutics, there is no more challenge for the researcher.
Yes.
Dok.
Oh.
Dok. Pwede ako ng topic, Dok?
Arangko?
partner.
Wa pa ko ka-enroll pero mo arrange pa.
Yeah, kinsa may powerful diri nga makahatag nimo garantiya nga pwede ka?
Ako silingan si Doc Ares.
Si Aris.
Oh,
O mao man ni mga gamhanan diri sa LIMS. Si Aris, si Niga, kinsa pa ni si Kalim. Ni mga uban nga mga si Dapat. Mo naman na si Aris.
ano na, oo. Say mo try lang ko Doc
Si
pero
Markayda. Mao ni gamhanan.
mo try lang ko. Mo try lang ko pana, mo try lang ko og search ana. Kana nga topic kay ganahan ko ana. Asa
Basta
may
kay
asa may napili, asa may nagikuha ang patarong ba ang dautan ba sa gibutang.
Pastor
Because-
Chavez, pero doon na ka?
Ha?
Doon na ka, Pastor Chavez?
Oh, meron na.
Okay,
Matthew
thank you.
5:22.
Okay.
unsa man to kang Chavez?
Katong ako adok kay Matthew 5:22, what is the real meaning of Jesus said that if you say to the brother Raka or fool, Raka is para sa going to Sanhedrin, and then the fool is to impierno. So true meaning of what Jesus said.
Okay, so be ready with many questions on that aspect because Jesus would even say, "You fool." So I don't know with Del Rosario, you have your topic already? Del Rosario.
Yes, Doc. Yun pa rin, Doc.
Ano yung title mo?
The leadership style of church elder in the Tarantula district of WBC, West Visayan Conference and Assessment.
So that is very good. That is quantitative leadership style.
Quantitative
Will
po yun,
you
Doc.
conduct a question? Will you? Is your
Statement
study
po, Doc.
qualitative interview or questionnaire?
Ano po? Quantitative.
Quantitative. So okay, if yours is quantitative, you submit to me your introduction, your statement of the problem. We will see if there is a necessity of you. I mean, it's good if you will have theoretical background or theoretical framework. What leadership theory would you use for your study? Then,
Yes po.
conceptual framework, I will just work with you in that. I will give you an idea how to do your conceptual framework. Then your scope and delimitation, your significance of the study, and then definition of terms. You have to make operational definition of terms. And then your review of related literature. By the way, yung theological, you also have to put review of related literature. I forgot to mention it. Put review of related literature. Katong mga either systematic theology, just like forgiveness, it's a systematic, or exegetical studies dealing with text, contextual, linguistic, etc. You also need to have review of related literature and studies. Not necessarily exactly that studies, but even related to it. That's why it's called review of related literature and studies. So I want Brother Del Rosario ba to? Your leadership style, you submit if you can make it within this week, the better. Introduction, meaning the background of the problem. What is the gap? Why is there a need for you to study that? What
Mayroon
is
na,
your
Doc.
rationale? Then your statement of the problem, the better if you state it in an interrogative sentence that ends with a question mark. Statement of the problem, 2 or 3 questions.
Meron
Perhaps
ako,
you
7.
will in your statement of the problem, it's good that you identify the demographic profile of your respondents. So number 1 question would be, what is the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of colon 1.1 sex, meaning whether male or female is your respondent. Then position, church position, whether elders or deacons or regular member only. Then what is this? Length of membership in the faith, whether 10 years in the faith, 20 years in the faith, etc. So, because respondents also matter. And also, I think, what is this? You have there the sex, whether male or female, and then church position. And then years in the faith, number of years in the faith. Either those who are still new in the faith, the respondent is still new in the faith, or already long in the faith. You categorize it so that you will be able to see their response, whether there is a significant difference as far as their, I think yours is perception of leadership. So you put there in your statement of the problem, number 1 statement of the problem, the demographic profile of your respondents. Then you look for a theory that would fit to your study. And then your conceptual framework, you make, what is this? Paradigm. The paradigm of your study. Anyway, if you will work closely with me, I will give you idea how to make it. Then your scope and delimitation. In other words, up to what limit is your study? The coverage of your study. So if your leadership style only is limited to what area is that? What district? Or mission?
West Visayas Conference po.
So if your study is on West Visayan, your respondents.
Ano lang po siya, church elder.
Yeah, but what whole are your respondents whole conference or only in one church or one district?
District.
District. So you only have 1 month more left. So you have to work double time because you will distribute questionnaires in the whole district. So how many churches are this in one district?
6 or 7.
Okay. So what is the place? How many one seat does this constitute or belong to one city or municipalities? How many municipalities these 7 districts, 7 churches? Usaran ni kalungsod or
Yes po. Isang town po siya, Doc. Meron
one
siyang
town.
6.
So
no.
you start thinking and then formulate your questionnaire. So you can already you finish first your chapter 1.
Yes po.
And then chapter 2, review of related literature. And then your chapter 3 is summary and discussion. So once you have already formulated your questionnaire, whether you will use 5-point Likert scale, strongly agree, slightly agree, neither agree nor disagree, or neutral, then disagree, and then strongly disagree. And then I will suggest to you the interval so that in treating it statistically, it would just be easy. You will get the mean, or whether you will deal with relationship, ANOVA or t-test, whatever, we will see. But you have to work first with your introduction. What prompted you to conduct the study, the reason behind, so that is part of your introduction or rationale of the study. And then your statement of the problem. Then again, your significance of the study. Why is this study significant? To whom does this study cast significance? Why is this important? or who will benefit this study. So you categorize, and then your scope and delimitation. So your study is only limited to a particular district, to 7 churches, blah, blah, blah. You state it in your scope and limitation. And then your, what is this? Your definition of terms. If there are terms that needs to be defined, you put it there. And you have to put your review of related literature and studies. You can easily find plenty of related literature. And then your research methodology. So you have the research design, whether quality or quantity, you state it. And then your sampling technique is your procedure of gathering data, probability sampling or non-probability sampling, whether it is purposive sampling, convenient sampling, cluster sampling, stratified sampling. It's up to you what kind of sampling you will use, because not all will be respondents. I tell you, you cannot finish it if you will have more than 100 or 200 respondents. I don't know if you have the machinery to distribute your questionnaire so you can easily distribute it according to your respondents and gather or retrieve your questionnaire on time, and then have it tabulated, then interpreted. So you have to present your sampling technique and then your respondents of the study. So you specify your respondents. Maybe you will put there your respondents are elders, deacons, and ordinary members. And who are the subject of the study? What the leadership style of the church elders or leadership style of the pastors?
The leadership styles of the church elder.
So it's not good that the church elders will be respondent, because they
Yes.
are the subject of your study. So it's not the pastoral style of leadership, the pastor's leadership style. It's the church elders' leadership style.
Yes, Padre.
So you have to identify different leadership styles as part of your RRL, review of related literature. So in your RRL, put everything different leadership style in your review of related literature. Then, after your respondents of the study, you have your research local. So in your research local, you put there the area, the specific geographical area of your research. So what is that? What town is that?
So, maghingi lang ko Dok ng kuan sa'yo ng kuan, isend ko tapos ito na yung mga sige lang ko Dok.
Okay, so and then your research instrument. So that is your questionnaire. You must be able to make your questionnaire. And then data gathering procedure. So step by step, what would you do if you will write a letter of permission, or if there are authorities, church authorities that needs to receive a permission, that you want to receive a permission to conduct your study, you need to write it, and then step by step procedure in the procedure. And then lastly, in your chapter 3 is your statistical treatment of data. You will use chi-square, you will use ANOVA, you will use t-test, you will use only mean in your statistical treatment. And then after conducting the study, distributing your questionnaires, then you will have your chapter 4, your research and discussion. So, you work closely with me so I can monitor how far have you gone, because this is very important. They might, in your defense, they might ask you of your methodology. How did you conduct it? How reliable is your procedure in conducting the research? That is very important, especially in your study, which is quantitative. So you communicate with me through messenger, so I can give you your the things that you need to do for your chapter 1, your chapter 2, and your chapter 3.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, so you are Del Rosario. So what about favorite? I think we already we have already lapsed the time allotted to us. Favorite, what is your title? Favorite? So our time in my watch is already 8:40 and we're supposed to end at 8:30. So
Up to 9, Doc. Up to 9.
Oh, up to 9?
O sa schedule, 7 to 9 man.
Okay. So we still have 15 minutes. So, Favorite, what is your title? So, Favorite is not responding. What about Adorable? Adorably? What's the title?
Sinong adorable, Doc?
Marami bang Adorably?
Mayroong isa sa Western Pastor Adorable. Samuel.
So wala pa siyang title?
Ako po, Doc. Yung ako pa, ano po yung sa akin?
Bernardo?
Opo, ito po. Nandito po sa messenger. Ano ko lang po.
Pero yung Bernardo ay from Luzon, right?
Yes, Doc.
Have you worked with Dr. Hernandez already?
Not yet, Doc. Kasi hindi ko pa siya, noon ino-contact ko siya, hindi ko pa po siya na-contact.
Ano ba yung study mo? Ano pa nga yung title?
Ano po? The Trinitarian Theology of the Catholic and the Seventh-day Adventist Church, a comparative study. Yun po.
Maganda yan. So you start working on it and work closely with Dr. Hernandez so you can already what is this? Go with it smoothly so you will not be affected with your time schedule because December you will be defending it.
Ano
So
po nga kasi?
naumpisahan mo na ba? Mayroon ka na bang nagawang introduction, statement of the problem, significance of the study? Mayroon na ba scope and limitation? Methodology and procedure? Ano ang procedure or methodology na gagamitin mo in your study? Mayroon ka bang presupposition of study?
Basta lang po nag-research muna po ako sa Google about the Catholic beliefs.
Maganda yan, pero kailangan plastada yung paper mo.
Opo nga. Dok, yun nga po itatanong ko sa inyo, yung procedure po, yung paano yung mga po, yung katulad po niyan, yung mga sinabi niyo na yan, yun po ang how can I start? Kaya po,
okay, so you begin with
po sa inyo, so that I can start my thesis po.
Yeah.
Kasi yun nga po ang naging
the problem is
I don't know how to start my
the problem is you will be under Dr. Hernandez, so you work with him so he can guide you all the way.
Yes,
but basically those are the things. In other words, the format of your paper must be systematic and well organized. So yes, the heading, or the title, and then the heading, the subheading, etc. If ever there is chaptering, because he was recommending IMRAD, but IMRAD, according to him, there is no chapter, direct title. I don't know. I have not yet found how it is going to be done. Because until now, I am trying to update with different universities as far as the research is concerned. There is still chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, up to chapter 5. Chapter 1 is the introduction or the background of the study. I mean, chapter 1 is the problem and its setting. So that includes the introduction, statement of the problem. That is chapter 1, significance of the study. For quantitative scope and limitation, methodology and procedure, that is in chapter 1. And then in chapter 2, another. But in quantitative, of course, chapter 2 is the review of related literature and studies. And chapter 3 is the research methodology. That includes research design, sampling technique, respondents of the study, research local, research instrument, data gathering procedure, and statistical treatment of data. But for theological studies, first you have your introduction, your statement of the problem. That is chapter 1, significance of the study, scope and limitation, presupposition of the study, methodology and procedure. And in chapter 2, you will deal with, if it is exegetical, but yours is not. Yours is not exegetical because you will not deal with one single text. But yours is one. So you will go to the main discussion. So you present the Catholic view and then you make a subtitle of the historical aspect, perhaps the historical aspect of the position taken. When did they take the position of Trinity as compared to SDA? Officially, when did the SDA take the position of the Trinity? Officially. And we find it in the SDA church, we only take that officially as our doctrine position in 1981, acted in the General Conference session. But historically, we do not take Trinity officially as our doctrine, only in 1981. In fact, the pioneers were opposed to Trinity until they died. When they died, gradually there was a development of adopting Trinity in our church. Of course, that is not your main concern, the historical development of adopting Trinity doctrine, but it's good that you will cite it as a background, and then you present the definition of the Catholic regarding Trinity. You will find there the Athanasian Creed, the Nicene Creed. It was first formulated in the Council of Nicaea, and how is the Trinity defined there? And also, you go into the SDA definition based on our official documents, and then try to see the similarities and also spot the difference. That is the concern of your study. And then in your conclusion, because what your statement of the problem is will be answered by your conclusion. So you at least have developed 3 questions in your statement of the problem. But because I am not your advisor, I suggest that you contact Dr. Hernandez, work closely with him so you can already begin and develop the arrangement of your paper, the systematic order of your title and subtitles, and you can present it systematically in an organized manner, the presentation of the similarities of the Trinity between Catholics and SDA and the dissimilarities, meaning the somewhat contradictory point in the Trinity doctrine. And you have to give the the view of the different Trinitarian position. I don't know if Dr. Hernandez is aware of the different views of Trinity. And what view does the Catholic Church adopt as compared to the SDA Church? I don't know if you have gone into the different viewpoints of Trinity, the tritheistic Trinity, the Unitarian, the what is this? The I will just anyway I will not discuss it here because you will be working with Dr. Hernandez. But my point is, do not delay in working with your thesis because we or you might run out of time because it's not easy. Your paper is not easy.
Yes
It must be strong
Sorry
enough
po.
to withstand different barrage of questions because you will be closely examined. I don't know if I can be a member of that panel on that, and I may be able to cast hard questions on you because you are not under me. So I might be among those who will be the panelists, and you might not be ready to answer my questions. That's why you have to exhaust a little bit your study of Trinity. So you can clearly differentiate the view of the Catholics as compared to the Adventist view. And you will be able to find Adventist view in our 28 fundamental beliefs. That is our official. Of course, you can cite other authors. We have a lot of Trinity books by Jerry Moon, by others. We have the latest on Trinity, and also by Max Hatton. And our encyclopedia, chapter, volume 12, there is a subject there, Trinity. That's why by looking at our authors and our official position in the SDA 28 fundamental beliefs, you can find it in the manual in briefly stated. It is briefly stated, but it's not exhaustive. That's why some other authors have tried to exhaust our position. That's why you can look at the significant or contrast or difference between Catholic and SDA. Where do we differ? Do we believe in homeostasis? You will undergo that when you study. The same essence, the same substance, or different essence, or what is it about their view of Trinity as compared to ours? Because they believe that Christ is the eternally begotten. But SDA takes the position that Jesus' sonship is not begotten, but only role-playing. The sonship of Christ is just figurative, or what is this? His sonship is not literal. His sonship is just figurative, or I forgot the term now. It was in my mind before. Metaphorical. His sonship is merely metaphorical. It's not real because they coexist from eternity. So Christ was not begotten by the Father. But the Catholic Church believe in the eternal begottenness. He was eternally begotten. So he was generated from the Father eternally. That is why they are of the same substance because the Son was from the Father taken or begotten eternally. But Adventists is different because Adventists take the position that he was not begotten. He was not from the Father. He was not derived from the Father. But they are totally separate beings with different existence. So they are not substantially, I don't know if they are substantially, they are in substance the same or not because they don't belong to each other. They are just united in nature. I don't know if in essence they are united in purpose, but one is not begotten from the other. Same is true with the Holy Spirit. So you have to look into that in brief, because that is not your main point, but as per background, you cite it in your paper so that that could be a good foundation in finding out the difference. What is it? How is Trinity defined based on the Nicene Creed and the Athanasian Creed as compared to SDA definition of Trinity? And then look into the details of how they are exposed or on the exposition of that position. Because you will not be dealing more with biblical text here, but you will be dealing there with their definition, their understanding, whether they are exactly the same or they are different. There may be similarity, but there is also difference. It's up to your conclusion or based on your finding. So we are interested to see your finding, which will be fully reflected in your conclusion.
Yes po, Doc. I will
So
try.
you start working with him sequentially according to the order of titling, that means heading, main heading, and subheading. The positioning of the title, whether it will be on the left or at the middle. Because you have to differentiate your heading. There are headings that are placed at the middle or at the left side. Because I will be working with the Visayas and Mindanao, that is why I will, what is this? I will see to it that the pattern, the format that will be used would be quite uniform so that there will be consistency. What title that needs to be put at the middle of the paper or at the left side of the paper? Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Doc, for the...
Paborite, Doc. Si Paborite, Doc, ara sa suset. Ano daw ang kanyang title?
Ano yung title ni Favorite? Favorite is from Mindanao, Visayas. What is the title of Favorite?
Mr. Suset Paborite.
Dok, wala pa akong title pero mayroon na akong hindi ko alam kung anong itata-title ko nito.
So ano ba 'yon? Ano ba 'yon ang topic mo?
Pwede ba yan, Dok, yung the direction?
Ha? Ano 'yon?
Death and resurrection, Doc?
Resurrection?
Yes.
So ano ba gusto mong tingnan sa resurrection? Mayroon bang resurrection o wala? Ano ba? Ano bang
There is hope after death.
Hope after death?
Yes, Doc.
Ay, kailangan pa bang i-research yan? Kung talagang maliwanag na yan sa Biblia? Naniwalaan na yan ng marami at ibig sabihin, hindi na yan question. Ano ba ang magiging bago sa research mo? Kasi, pinipreach na yan eh. Dinodoktrina na yan. So, ano pa ba ang bago sa i-research mo? Ano ba ang what is something new in your research that would contribute to knowledge? That is the purpose of research. You have to contribute something to knowledge. If you will research something that is already established, there is no need to research. For example, ang i-research ko yung saan nakalagay ang Malacanang Palace. Hindi na yan i-research dahil almost all people have already known, almost all people in Metro Manila know already where is Malacanang Palace. So hindi na kailangan i-research. Sabihin mo, ang title ko ay The Location of Malacanang Palace, where the President of the Republic of the Philippines resides. That is the title of my topic research. Hindi yun researchable kasi alam na yan halos lang lahat. So, if there is hope in after death, researchable pa ba yan? Is there something new that you'd like to look into it that is not known by many? If it is known by all that there is hope after death, then what is something new that you would research on as a contribution to knowledge? So, what aspect of resurrection would you like to research as significant contribution to knowledge? Yun ang titingnan mo pag mag-conduct ka ng research. Una, mayroon bang problem na kailangang ma-solve, i-research mo kung ano ang solusyon, yun. Or
Hello,
mayroon
Doc.
kang i-explore, so titingnan
Hello, Doc.
mo, hello.
Baka gusto niyang i-prove kasi some religion, major religion like Islam, they don't believe that Jesus was crucified. Baka ganyan ba?
Again, the next question is what will be your reference, authoritative reference, because if you will use Bible as your reference and your subject and your and the people you are targeting are the Muslims, it will not be significant. There is no significance to it because they don't believe the Bible, especially the New Testament.
Yes.
So,
how about the Jewish?
Hindi rin sila naniniwala sa New Testament.
Okay.
Unless you will,
Thank you, Doc.
if you will use the Old Testament, but could you find resurrection in the Old Testament?
Mayroong yung 3 days and 3 nights.
But that is not in the Old Testament.
It's not specified.
That is all in the New Testament. You will find plenty of resurrection passages in the New Testament, but not in the Old Testament. So ano ba ang titingnan mo na magiging bago sa resurrection? That is worthy of researching. Because if that is common knowledge, there is no sense of making a research on it. Because it is already known.
Okay, Doc.
Especially, so ano ang tinitingnan mong researchable? Especially to the person, you. If you conduct a research, that means that you do not know yet. But if you conduct a research that you already know, it's no longer research. You conduct a research because you want to find the answer. You want to explore a new knowledge. That is research. You do not know yet. But if you conduct a research in which you already know, that is no longer a research.
ko talaga yan.
Huh?
Kasi may mga admin. Ay.
That is why primarily research imply that you want to know something that you do not know yet. Or controversial, is not yet settled. There might be partially solved but not fully solved. That could be a good reason for research, purpose of research. But if you already know, what is there to research on if you already know? That's why you conduct research, because you do not know yet the answer. That is the purpose of research. There is no sense of researching when you already know the answer. You want to find the answer because there is a problem. That is the purpose of research. So if you want to look into whether there is hope beyond death, you already know that because it has been indoctrinated over and over again in the church. So is there a need to research? Unless there is an area that is yet unsettled or remains controversial or area that has not been explored yet, then that is it. You can conduct a research on it. For example, in resurrection, what aspect or area in resurrection that remains unsettled that you'd like to research? For example, resurrection. Others would insist that Christ was resurrected on a Sabbath because the 3 days and 3 nights began on Wednesday evening and ended on the Sabbath. So he was resurrected on the Sabbath. But majority of the Christians believe that Christ was resurrected on a Sunday. Now, that remains unsettled to the both parties. To the Church of God, they insist that the 3 days and 3 nights requires 72 hours. If Christ died on a Friday, it cannot reach 72 hours because 3 days. One day constitute 24 hours. Another day, 24. Another day, 24. So 3 days and 3 nights would constitute 72. 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. Day and night constitute 24, 12, 12. So 72. If he died Friday afternoon, how can he be resurrected on Sunday? Because 72 hours would not yet lapse. Like, let's say, in practical counting, 3 days and 3 nights. Friday, day, 1 day. Saturday, day part, 2nd day. What about Sunday? Dawn, he was already resurrected, so it did not reach 3 days. What about night? Friday night, 1 night. Saturday night, another night. There is no Sunday night because that the Saturday night is Sunday dawn. Or even if you will say three nights, but it does not reach 3 days, maybe 3 nights. So Christ's prediction of himself, 3 days and 3 nights, cannot be seen as far as its fulfillment is concerned on the reckoning Friday to Sunday dawn. Because Christ said specifically and categorically 3 days and 3 nights. So if you will look into that aspect of resurrection, that would be good because that remains to be controversial.
Okay, Doc.
When was Christ resurrected? But there are passages that says that it was on the first day of the week. So if he was resurrected dawn, first day of the week, and if he died Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, then how can it be 3 days and 3 nights? That's why the Church of God tried to resolve it by making the starting point Wednesday evening. And the Sabbath to them is not the 7th-day Sabbath, but Sabbath, the high day. I mean, the Sabbath there is the ceremonial Sabbath. That is how they sold it. So he was resurrected on the Sabbath, which is the termination of the 3rd day or the 3rd night. So they began with Wednesday evening at his, what's this? Which is considered to be the night where he was in Gethsemane. And then Thursday evening, he was arrested in Gethsemane. Or Wednesday evening was the Passover, Nisan 14. That's why they would argue that Friday is not Nisan 14 according to astronomical calendar. Friday is not Nisan 14. According to the Bible, Christ was crucified on a Passover. So Passover is Nisan 14. And in the Jewish calendar, Nisan 14 is not Friday. That's why they will try to disprove the Friday crucifixion and Sunday resurrection theory. They disagree on that. So that would also be a good topic. But I don't know if that would just be very easy for you because you will deal with that would be very controversial, and you will have problem with your defense if you cannot satisfactorily provide the answer when you will be closely scrutinized or interrogated or cross-examined. So it's up to you. Think of a topic and then begin on it so that you will not run out of time, because next time we meet, next Sunday will already be 29, and the closer we are to your deadline for your defense. So time is running fast. As much as possible, those who have no title yet, within this week, you can have your title and you can begin working on your chapter 1. That's the most important.
Doc. Thank you, Doc.
Okay, so I hope that everything is clear. We already exceeded with our time allotment. It's already 9:10. So I hope everything is clear. All of you must be able to make your research. Good for Teresoniga, Aringo, Aris. They have already begun with their thesis, and they just need more polishing, and that would not take much time. And as far as possible, as far as research is concerned, they are almost done, because they just need more polishing with their paper, more a little bit of enhancing and strengthening their papers to make sure that they can defend during their defense schedule. So those who have not yet started, those who have no title yet, you might get crammed when the 11th hour comes. So while you still have 1 month to go, work fastly, work on it fastly and religiously. So you will have no problem when the deadline of your submission and for defense will arrive. Thank you very much. Once again, good morning to everyone. God bless. And I now turn over the time to the in charge.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you very much.
Thank you po, Doc.
Thank you po, Doc. Thank you, Doc.
So thank you. So who is the in charge? I am now turning over the time to the in charge of the class.
I think the in charge is Doc Rana.
Unless you have some follow-up questions while the next presenter or the next professor is not yet here.
By the way, para sa mga fast trackers na hindi lang para doon sa BDiv or BSDiv, yung gustong mag-fast track, mag-backtrack, mag-fast track para sa masters, kasama po kayo sa pag-submit ng thesis title. At of course, a thesis defense, no? Yung master's fast tracker and backtracker. So, yung iba ay ano lang naman yung sa kanila yung Bachelor of Divinity in Chaplaincy Ministry. Pero yung iba din ay humahabol sa Master of Divinity, major in Pastoral and Chaplaincy. So, habol po kayo mga kapatid, submit po kayo ng title. You can directly contact Dodds Gumapak, which I believe Dodds Gumapak is already added to Alpha Beta GC. So you can send your titles, your proposed titles, and you can also send me your proposed titles para matulungan tayo mag-formulate ng ating title, lalo na napakalapit na ng panahon. It's barely 5 weeks to go. If you can write 1 chapter a week, tapos po November. Last week, kung ganun po kayo kabilis, no? 1 chapter each week, starting next week. So, but we are just around to help you, no? Meron ba bang gustong magtanong, or we'll have a break for 2 to 3 minutes before we go to the next resource speaker?
Hello po. Yung mga ibang fast tracker po, they are asking for the link. Am I allowed to send the link?
Mayroong nakalagay na sa sa beta, alpha beta. Yun na lang yung i-click eh.
Pero po yung mga iba na may mga dun po sa Nofil ko, may mga nanghihingi po sila Ma'am Sharon, Gladys. Sila Sir Maka.
Wala pa ba si Ma'am Sharon sa alpha beta?
Gladys Sharon Remulta po.
Opo, pag ikaw ay fast tracker, inad ka na po ni Ma'am Manilyn sa alpha beta. Pag hindi ka pa fast tracker, wala talaga, hindi ka na-add ni Ma'am Manilyn. Kasi si Ma'am Manilyn yung hawak ng numerong 99, no? So, pag wala kang 99, hindi ka nakapasok. Hindi nag-signify, no? Kasi ang magic dyan, yung 99 eh.
Maybe kaya hindi sila na-add pa. Parang nung last Sunday po, parang madami yata yung nag-aantay ng link. Hindi daw sila nakaka-ano.
Ito po yung fast tracker po ito eh. Sa link po ito ng fast tracker. Ang regular po, mamaya pang 12:00.
Fast tracker daw po si Christopher Macam.
Nandun naman sa alpha beta eh.
Sige po, sabihin ko na lang po sa kanila.
Sabihin nyo, nasa alpha beta. Kung wala sila sa alpha beta, baka nasa gamma na sila eh. Next year. Next year pa yun. Gamma. Okay. So, okay, we'll wait for the others. Extend po tayo ng mga 5 to 10 minutes para mahintay natin yung yung mga nawawalang kapatid, no? Lost, hindi na fast track, lost track eh. Okay. Lost track. Sige, mga kapatid, pwede na po kayong mag-almusal. No? Yung iba hindi pa nag-almusal eh. Okay. Ako, kumain lang ako ng saba. Nagko-trouble din yung ko eh. External drive. Nandoon yung file ko para sa sana ma-retrieve ko yung i-present ko this morning. Kasi po si Ma'am